it feels like a very comfortable truck. Hey everyone, and welcome to another of the SCS on the road episodes. Today we are in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Volvo Trucks North America headquarters. And here with me is another amazing person from Volvo Trucks. Can you introduce yourself, sir, a little bit?
My name's Ian Anderson. I'm the Senior Industrial Designer for the Volvo design team, and my focus is primarily on the exterior.
So I believe like most of our community, even including me, we don't know how such process go. Like how do you guys design a truck?
I think when you go into any process of designing, whether it's a truck or a phone or whatever the product is, we always start by looking at other products, similar products, other trucks on the market, but then whatever kind of product you may want to look at that's just inspiring, something that's interesting, patterns on products or the colors, certain colors and finishes that we like, and start to compile images that just inspire us and create an inspiration page. Usually we don't focus on the trucks. We'll study them beforehand, but they're normally not on the inspiration page. We'll pick other products that are unrelated but still inspiring for some feature that we like.
What inspired the design of the exterior of this truck, maybe, or the VNL in general?
Sure, yeah. It's been a while since I looked at the inspiration page, but I know we had a couple of boats on there for the length of the truck, because we really wanted for the side view of this vehicle to take all the lines and really expand them out and pull them out as far as we could, for the purpose of creating speed and that feeling of speed and motion. And
it's not like total free creativity process, I believe, because you guys have to keep in mind all the regulations.
We do.
Aerodynamics.
Aerodynamics.
Or the laws of physics, but in general, basically, right?
Yes.
That's a lot of things to keep in your heads.
And aerodynamics really played a strong hand in how we developed a lot of these surfaces. And because at the beginning, we actually, for example, on the fender here, we had these brakes in the fender. We had them a little bit tighter. But we really came back and working with aero, we were getting the air to detach a little bit from the surface when we hit those hard brakes. And it really helped just to fill that surface out a little bit and create a certain curvature that allowed that air to stay reattached or attached in the first place and continue down the side of the vehicle. And it really does help improve those aero numbers at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So at the beginning, you get all the inspirations and you compare the other trucks and basically everything. And what's the next? Then you guys like sketch a concept or?
Tons of sketching, yes, a lot of sketching. And then I normally start on paper myself. You get that natural feeling and just that pen on paper or pencil on paper has a nice feel. But we also do a lot of digital work also in Photoshop and other programs.
And what's next? Then you, I don't know, maybe 3D prints, like a first model, or
we'll start with smaller scale models. So normally we start with a 40% clay model.
Okay.
We'll mill out the surfaces, and that way you get that first gut check of how are the proportions, how are the details, how are things just feeling, and very quickly you get that first sense of like, okay, yeah, we need to move this, and maybe the air intake felt a little bit large. You need to make that a little bit smaller in comparison to the headlamp, and start trying to create that hierarchy of what you want to look at when you look at this truck. When you stand back, what details do you want to be drawn to? You want some elements to kind of sit in the background just a little bit, still want them to be nice and have a nice detail to it.
I know you guys offer like multiple options, for example, for the bottom part. But that's the time when you take a look at the model or the sketches and like, okay, this part around the air intake might be like having a nice satin chrome stripe, or
yeah.
How do you can even like imagine that? Like, I would be probably looking at the sketch and I'm like, okay, I'm done.
I mean, the first time that I worked on some of the theme sketches for this truck, these panels here were all black. And I really wanted this strong black graphic to come up from the bottom of the vehicle and kind of wrap up into the headlamps.
Like claws.
Yes, yeah. And creating this very strong graphic here with the body color. Almost creating a little bit of that Spartan mask feeling, you know.
Oh,
so
now I
that,
see it,
that strong feeling as it's coming towards you.
That's right, now I see it.
Yeah. But then, of course, you know, you want to have certain packages and offer different trim levels.
Someone needs like this to be like plastic because like they're using like, I don't know, the truck in like a more like rough environment and the paint might get scratched or something like that.
True. Yes. Yeah. We do offer that the clad bumper, which is much more durable. Can take a hit. You know, can take a couple of little brushes here and there, and look much better at the end of the day compared to paint. But as far as like the trim levels go, you know, the black panel is underneath here, and then we created a chrome package,
like extra layer. Or?
Yeah. Yep. Extra layer. So this satin chrome is always here, but this is added as a chrome package along with some of the side fairing elements. It just creates a different feel for the truck. A lot of truck drivers really like the chrome and like those bright accents, and so we like to give the guys what they like.
Awesome. Do you also at the point of doing the sketches, either it is like with the paper or digital or printing the first like models, do you already think about colors? Like, okay, so this truck should come by default in blue or in orange or in gray. Is it or does it come later, this part?
It comes a little bit later, but it's fairly early.
Yeah.
We have a color and trim, or they call them CMF team, and it's usually 2 or 3 people that work together and work on the colors and try to develop release colors that we think are strong and really highlight all the features on the truck.
What's your favorite part of the truck, if you would have to choose? Like,
I always believe within design, I always love just some of the orthographic views. I feel if they work well, that the whole truck will work well. So I always start with the front view, try to get things to feel stabilized and really start thinking about proportions. And then of course the side view is hugely important as to how that reads and feels. But I did start with the front. I think we all typically start there just to build on that expression of the vehicle. You were talking about the mood boards or the inspiration boards before. You want to create this feeling, right? I mean, anytime you look at a car or any kind of product, you're drawn to it for some reason or another, right? Like you're like, well, I like it for this reason, or it reminds me of this, or so we wanted to have this strong, confident, not too aggressive, but not too friendly either. You know, it's a truck, it's a serious product. You want it to feel
it's a beast,
serious. So we wanted to feel very strong. And so that's where the face comes in with this very strong kind of emotional expression. And then once you move along to the side of the vehicle, we really wanted to draw these details out. Yeah, kind of starting all the way from the bumper, these lines kind of pulling up into the top of the hood, corner of the hood.
And it goes through the,
and pulling all the way back. Yeah. And we were working with a carryover door. So we had this feature line which runs through quite cleanly into the luggage access door. You can see we pick back up on the chamfer that runs into the hood just in order to draw that line out.
That's also a thing, right? You always have to keep in mind like where all the trunks will be placed, where the window will be placed. You probably like, you can't have the line like diagonal because there's gonna be window, or it might be like it might be looking a little bit weird or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then of course thinking about different lengths of cabs too, right? Like you're saying, the window might be in a slightly different position at some point, and you got to work with certain lines and have them line up and work with the different lengths of cabs. It's a challenge.
Yeah, like the more we talk about it, the more challenging it sounds to me. Like, how long does such process like usually take, like to design
I guess you kind of starting with the pen hitting the paper to production. I mean, you're looking at least 4 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
4.5, 5 sometimes. It can vary.
That's cool. Well, guys, you did an amazing job. I love your trucks. I love like you said, the the front look. I love your LED daytime running signature. That's so recognizable from a far distance. You can see it's a Volvo truck.
We spent a ton of time working on the headlamps. The headlamps are always very important. Again, it's like the eyes that create the front of the vehicle, right? So yeah, it was fun to work with the V shape, and it is very easily identified. It's cool.
Awesome. Do you sometimes like sketch completely futuristic looking or trucks for yourself, like this might be a good truck to drive on moon or something like that?
Yeah, we do. We take moments to step back from reality sometimes,
and just to enjoy, like
just to play a little bit and
feed the brain.
Yes, you feed the brain, and then sometimes you can come up with something and that maybe you can't work it into the next project or even 2 projects away, but maybe it can be that inspiration for down the road.
That's so cool. Like I can't imagine like you come into the office every day and that's okay, today I'm gonna paint or sketch a new truck.
It's
that will be running all around the world, all around America, Canada, Alaska.
It's a ton of fun, and it's a big responsibility at the same time too, you know. And it's fun working with the team because you work back and forth, and of course there's that competition element. You know, you want to get in there and do your best, and you know, not only for yourself but for the brand and for the company, and you work back and forth with your teammates and build upon certain ideas.
Hey, I'm Brian Balicki. I'm the head of design of Volvo Trucks North America here in Greensboro, North Carolina. At the moment, we're sitting in the VNL 760, which is our newer sleeper model with the high roof.
I must say, like on the first feel, it feels like a very comfortable truck. Like I know you guys have multiple different cabins, like options. This is like the 760, then
760, 860, which we have next to us, and we also have the day cab, which we refer to as a 300 model, and we also have a 440 and the 660.
Amazing. How you guys design these interiors?
So what we like to do is really understand where we are in the market before we start designing something new. So we'll look at our competitors, we'll look at the automotive industry to understand what's new and upcoming for different technologies, what are the trends, looking at color, material, and finish, what makes sense for the features and functions of the product, what do we want to introduce new that customers have been asking for. So we've updated the instrument cluster, for instance, really creating this interactive feature from the driver information display, making controls at the wheel so that it makes a safer environment when you're operating the product, and really just having a lot of logic built into the rocker switches and the controls that operate the vehicle.
Awesome. Can you maybe like very briefly walk us through which button does what and what is it?
A lot of these control components on the chassis, for instance, we have fifth wheel lock engagement. We have the adjustment of the chassis height using the airbags. We allow for a fifth wheel slide, so you can adjust that. There's also hill assist, so that if you're on a certain grade and you don't want to slip rearward when you have a load on the vehicle,
it's like
it'll hold its position.
Okay.
You can turn that on and off. There's also traction control features that allow different types of
that's the
mud, snow.
Okay.
So you get a little bit of slipping from the drive axle, so you can change the performance there. There's a lot of lighting features that we have encompassing this group of switches that allow for the lighting either on the floor or on the ambient lighting above us. And then we have some controls even over here. Usually the controls on the left-hand side operate some of the features on the exterior of the product. For instance, we have a light control for the daylight running lamps.
Yeah.
There are some customers and some markets where you have to disengage the daylight running lamps as a safety feature, so we have that option to do that on the vehicle as well.
Awesome. And what about the wheel? Like you mentioned, you designed the wheel for the driver to have the features that he uses the most often at the reach of the hand.
Correct. So we share this wheel with our counterpart in Gothenburg in Sweden, where the product's offered there. And the wheel was designed so that it allowed for multiple hand positions. So you could change your comfort grip, right? And it's really important that you have that option, because over time, if you're only allowed to hold one position, you'll increase fatigue. So it's really critical that you allow for the
Keep the-
user to
keep
keep
the blood
the
flowing,
blood flowing,
yeah.
kind of change the position. Depending on the movement, you want to be able to have a different grip. So this kind of openings allow for that.
And as you can see, like the like multiple buttons for honk, for example, for horns, like they work for.
We have a city horn, which is more appropriate for smaller spaces, you know, to kind of create a more calmer environment. And then you have the air horn. The controls on the wheel, like I said, are for mainly safety reasons, to be able to control without taking them off the wheel. It allows you to get to the different features, to change the different settings on your driver information display, to go through the different audio settings. Then we also have cruise control features and functions. We have adaptive cruise control, which allows you to go at a certain gauge or depth between the vehicle in front of you. We also have lighting controls, which may be unique to some customers, where it signals the lights on and off to either allow another vehicle to get in front or to thank them for allowing them in, to signal them. So that's kind of nice to be able to have that feature on the wheel.
That's great. And what about the position of the steering wheel?
Yeah, so the beauty of the steering wheel, and this is something that we introduced in this new model, is you have the position perfect steering wheel, which allows two different types of settings. One is the telescopic, where you can move it in and out, but then you also have the neck tilt feature. So you can really cover a wide range of demographic. So obviously we have the female demographic drivers, we have the larger individuals, but we also want to accommodate the range in between there. So
this dashboard runs well with also like features such as like Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Or...
Yes, so we do have Android Auto on here. It allows us to get to different settings. And if I change gears, if I automatically switch to reverse, the backup camera comes on automatically. So a lot of things are engaging, just as you would expect in your
normal
pickup truck or any other kind of
pedestrian
vehicle.
What about the seats? I can see a lot of buttons I missed in my car, so I don't understand all of them, but...
Yeah, the seating features allow for what we call a quick dump, where it drops the air to come all the way down, so it allows for better ingress and egress into the product. But then you have your finite controls for the air, so you can change the height to your liking. You have the recline feature that allows the actual, so if you pull up on that, it'll actually allow you to recline the seat a little bit more forward. And then we have additional lumbar controls that change the actual airbags and whatnot. And we do have heating, cooling, and also a back cycler here.
Oh yeah, it's on my other side there.
More of a massage feature, which is really nice. And that's the same thing with like the hand positions. This cycles through the backs to keep the blood flowing.
That is cool. I didn't know that these seats are coming with like massage functions. That is great. That's really like, like a higher end personal car.
Yeah, we really wanted to create these reward features for the drivers.
I mean, drivers spend a lot of time, right, in these seats and in this cabin in general.
Potentially up to 11 hours a day in the vehicle, either riding or waiting for a product to be loaded. And it was really important for us to take a lot of that input from the customers, what they're looking for. Like when it came to heating and cooling, the heating has been something that has been kind of common, but now the cooling is much appreciated, especially in environments like Arizona and Utah.
Yeah, in the off states.
Yep.
What do we have here in the off?
We refer to this as the radio box shelf for one reason, because many customers keep their CB radio here. It already is pre-wired for that application. We also have some additional controls. We have the lane change support, so that if you start to drift out of your lane, it'll indicate to you that you are diverting from where you're supposed to be, but you can disable it for a certain duration.
So it works a similar way like the rumble stripes?
Correct. Yeah. And the reason why we have this here is there are some roadways that may not have markings.
Yeah.
And so if it's thinking that you're diverting from your lane, but you don't have a lane, you need to just tell it, hey, I'm getting to this one section, then I will allow it.
How does it work? The sensor in the front are like capturing the lines and...
Correct.
It can recognize that you are approaching to it.
There's a camera system both at the front and the windshield, and it basically is tracking where you are as far as position.
That's a cool feature, yeah.
We also have the 12-volt cigarette adapter to allow for a connection to the CB radio, Bluetooth mic to do voice hands-free without having to text or whatnot, and you can communicate with your fleet yard or whatever you need to do. Yeah. We also have the heads-up display safety warning.
Heads-up
So that
display,
if you're coming up close to another vehicle and let's say, for instance, you're distracted for whatever reason, either because of a lot of traffic, this will shine an array of LEDs onto the screen right at your vision to let you know that it's about to generate a braking function that will stop the truck for you. So it's really important for safety.
So it goes like first the truck tries to warn you,
Yes.
and if you would still remain distracted, it will even
It will
brake
start to stop
for
this
you.
truck for you. Correct. So right now you're sitting in one of the new features that we've introduced in this model, which is our recline bunk feature. We really wanted to, once again, reward the driver and the user of this product so that they're not just maybe sleeping in this product, but they're relaxing and living in it. So the recline function allows them to lay back. And if you wanted to just simulate that, go ahead
Should
and lay back.
I have
Yeah.
shoes? Is it
It's okay for now. Go ahead and lay back, and there's a control here on this rail. If you pull that all the way down, yep, put your hand there. And if you pull it out and lean up a little bit,
Oh yeah.
now you can let it go, and it has a finite position where you can just change
Oh,
the
yeah.
settings. So this allows them to watch TV if they have a flat screen mounted on the flat screen mount.
I can
con-
imagine that like, flat screen TV there, Xbox or PlayStation there.
Yep. And
Play
you
some
know,
games.
if you're operating a
Oh
the
yeah.
laptop, you can position
I
it
can
there.
have a call with my
So now you
family.
can, yep, make a a FaceTime call. We've moved all the controls to the rear of the back wall, so now you have access to charge ports. You can lock and unlock your door from this location. You can turn on and off the ambient lighting. You can also use your inverter.
For the
and then you
radio.
can control your HVAC and
Uh-huh.
radio from this location.
That is great, and everything is like within reach. That's cool.
That's right. That's the whole important part of this living environment.
And I must say the mattress is very comfortable.
That's another.
Right.
I'm glad you noticed. So you have a mix or a hybrid of spring and foam in the mattress.
And it's very wide.
It is.
I'm not the smallest guy, and I would say even two people of my size could fit here. It's very wide and very comfortable. This is cool.
The
This is a cool
other
place to
element
be.
that we wanted to introduce was, let's say you need to sleep during the day because you're that team driver that has to do that. You can close out all the light using these airline shades, so they have them on both sides.
Oh yeah.
So
Because that's true. Truck driver often doesn't really choose where the possible amount of hours he can drive will run out, right? And he
Right.
will have to take the break. It might be a brake light out there.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
one of the important parts is to really close out as much daylight as you can to get proper night's sleep or proper day's sleep. So we wanted to create this airline experience through this living environment.
This is great. This is great. And I can see like these, there's a second bunk as well, right?
Correct. So the upper bunk, what we did is we introduced the telescoping ladder, which allows the user to get in and out of that area much easier and safer.
What are you guys like when you are designing the sleeping area, or how to call it, like how you guys are like looking at it or thinking about it? Like you always have to you always keep the comfort of the driver in your mind, I guess. That's the most important thing, right?
So, really reducing fatigue, making sure they get a proper night's sleep or a proper day's sleep like we just talked about, making sure that it is comfortable, that you have sufficient or even above lighting that you wouldn't expect, which is always a pleasant surprise to our drivers. And I would say that we try to accommodate multiple variations of lighting. So you can have just a simple ambient lighting of the blue, or you can do the white.
For
You
reading,
can continue for reading, and you have that surrounding most areas of the vehicle. So depending on what function you're doing back here, you can obviously accommodate it through lighting. We also have the space for your microwave, which would be on the driver's side. Plenty of storage. You have access to a fridge, which allows storage of your sodas, your meals, and there's even a freezer integrated into it. And then of course you have storage where you can access
cut vegetable or food on
exactly. We have cup holders to store your beverages and additional charge ports.
it. And more lights.
Yep, more lighting.
this is a nice place to be.
We love it.
I'm ready for after lunch nap. Can you guys leave me here for
Just
2
an hour
hours?
or two. Yeah. Catch up from jet lag.
All right, that was it. Thank you, sir,
Thank you.
so much for all the
Appreciate it.
information. And now, really, if the camera guy and you, sir, could leave me here for a few
We're gonna
hours, I'm just joking. We will see you next time.